Imagine living without a fridge. Scary, right? For most of us, that's a nightmare since we rely on it for everything, from leftovers to ice cream. But for the Amish, it's just part of daily life. They've mastered preserving meat without any electricity, using techniques passed down through generations. These methods are so effective that they could outperform even your high-tech freezer. In a world filled with gadgets, the Amish stand out by sticking to traditional methods. No modern technology, no refrigeration, just tried and true practices. They're known for being self-sufficient, but when it comes to meat preservation, they're on another level. Not only do they keep their food safe, but they also improve its flavor. I'll admit, the first time I tried Amish-cured ham, I was doubtful. No fridge, really? But the taste blew me away. It was smoky, flavorful, and lasted much longer than anything I'd ever stored in my freezer. If you're thinking meat without refrigeration must be old and dry, think again. The Amish have perfected techniques that not only preserve meat, but make it taste even better. One of their key tools is salt, which has been used for centuries to preserve food. The Amish have turned this simple mineral into an art form. Salt draws out moisture from the meat, preventing bacteria from growing. And since moisture is the enemy of preserved meat, salt is the hero. But it's not just about sprinkling salt on and calling it a day. The Amish carefully select their cuts, whether pork, beef, or chicken, and generously coat every part of the meat with salt. It's like giving the meat a high-end treatment, minus the spa vibes. Fun fact, the phrase "worth your salt" comes from a time when salt was so valuable that Roman soldiers were sometimes paid with it. I was amazed when I first saw the salt curing process. I thought if I had to rely on it, I'd end up with meat that was too dry. But the Amish know what they're doing. The result isn't just edible, it's delicious. The salt enhances the natural flavor of the meat while protecting it from spoilage. And while salt is key, it's not enough on its own, especially when weather conditions vary or meat needs to be transported. That's where smoking comes in. Smoking does more than just add a rich flavor. It's a powerful preservation method. The Amish have mastered this technique, using smoke to further dry out the meat and keep it fresh for much longer. You'll find smoked hams, sausages, and bacon hanging in Amish kitchens, all prepared with care. Smoking not only infuses flavor, but also creates an environment that bacteria can't thrive in. The combination of heat, smoke, and reduced moisture can extend the life of meat for months, even up to a year if done right. Imagine having perfectly preserved meat, ready to serve at your next family feast. I once tried smoking meat myself, thinking it would be a fun project. Let's just say the smell made my neighbors think I was hosting a bonfire party. They came expecting s'mores, not smoked ribs. But for the Amish, smoking meat is a carefully honed skill. They know exactly which woods to use, like hickory or apple, and they monitor the process closely, balancing heat and smoke to get the perfect result. Smoking isn't just cooking, it's a tradition, a craft passed down through generations. While it takes a lot of effort, the Amish also know when to use other methods when resources are limited. This method adds a sweet twist to preserving meat. While salt and smoke are major players in meat preservation, Amish have another clever technique: sugar curing. This method combines the sweetness of sugar with the power of salt, giving the meat a unique sweet and savory flavor. It's especially popular for hams and bacon, making them taste extra special. The process is simple but effective. Sugar and salt are mixed and rubbed onto the meat, drawing out moisture and creating the perfect environment for preserving, while also adding a touch of sweetness. It's like a sweet, comforting hug for your taste buds. Sugar curing almost feels like nature's version of candy-coated bacon, but it lasts much longer than what you'd buy in the store. First time I tasted sugar-cured bacon, I was amazed. It was sweet, salty, and everything you'd want in a breakfast treat. Plus, it's a testament to how resourceful the Amish are. Interestingly, sugar curing has been around for centuries, and the Amish have refined this old practice over time, resulting in meat that's not only delicious, but can be stored for months. The balance of salt and sugar is crucial to this method. Too much sugar, and the meat ends up tasting like dessert. Too little, and it loses that signature sweetness. The Amish have perfected the ratio, ensuring each bite is full of flavor. And sugar curing isn't just for ham and bacon. It can be used on a variety of meats, like pork loin, and even some beef cuts, opening up a world of flavors. However, even though sugar curing is great for taste and preservation, it can leave the meat a bit sticky. To avoid this, The Amish often follow up with a drying process, which firms up the texture. In addition to these methods, the Amish also use vinegar for preservation. This tangy liquid isn't just for salads. It creates a bacteria-unfriendly environment, making it great for preserving meats like sausages and fish, while also adding a tasty zing. Vinegar brining not only extends the shelf life of meat, but also gives it a unique flavor. The Amish mix vinegar with spices, herbs, and sometimes a bit of sugar to create a brine that enhances the meat. They tailor the brine depending on the type of meat and often use different kinds of vinegar, like apple cider, for added flavor. Vinegar brining is a centuries-old method used by ancient Egyptians and Roman soldiers to keep food safe, but it's not without its challenges. Too much acidity can overpower the meat, so the Amish carefully balance the flavors, ensuring the brine enhances rather than overwhelms. Stored properly, vinegar-brined meats can last several weeks in the fridge, and they are often used in hearty Amish dishes like casseroles and sandwiches. It's a simple but effective method that both preserves and enhances the flavor of the meat, making each bite unforgettable. This method adds a sweet twist to meat preservation. While salt and smoke are well-known techniques, lard is another method used by the Amish. Slowly heated animal fat is rendered into lard, which can be poured over meats to create an airtight seal that keeps food fresh for months. This old practice dates back to when lard was the go-to cooking fat. Though many people today associate lard with unhealthy food, the Amish still embrace it, recognizing its benefits and sustainability. Every part of the animal is used, showing the Amish's resourcefulness. Root cellars are essential in Amish food storage. These underground spaces act like natural refrigerators, keeping meat fresh without electricity. The cool temperatures and humidity slow down spoilage. The Amish build their root cellars with ventilation to keep the food safe from pests, and they store not only meats, but also vegetables like potatoes and carrots. This old method of storage has been used for centuries and is part of the Amish's commitment to sustainability. In winter, the Amish use the cold air outside to freeze meat, turning their yards into giant freezers. The cold air preserves the meat for weeks or even months, and freezing it at low temperatures also makes it more tender. But the Amish must be careful with snow and rain, so they cover the meat to keep it dry. Another method is drying meat, which strips the moisture to prevent bacteria growth, turning it into jerky. The Amish hang meat in well-ventilated barns or outdoors on sunny days to dry it naturally. This technique not only preserves the meat, but also adds a delicious flavor. Finally, the Amish also use pressure canning to store meat in jars for years. They seal the meat and cook it under high pressure to kill bacteria and lock in the flavors. Properly canned meat can last 3 to 5 years, providing a long-term supply of food. In short, the Amish use a variety of traditional techniques: sugar curing, vinegar brining, lard rendering, root cellars, freezing, drying, and pressure canning to preserve their meat naturally, showing their resourcefulness and respect for nature. These methods prove that sometimes the old ways are the best ways.